Hello everyone, my name is James Klim. Welcome back to Red vs. Blue Season 10 reviews. Matthew Lake and Christopher Strong cannot be here today. I don't know what's going on, but they're not present. That's no big deal. It's just me for today, and besides, a lot of people back in the day said that they liked when I did the reviews by myself, so I guess this is a present to you. They should hopefully be back next week for episode 11. So this is episode 10, and I'm just going to do what I've been doing before. We're going to run through the episode, give my thoughts, and get right to the point. I hope you enjoy the gameplay and all that awesome jazz. So, by the way, this will contain spoilers. The link to the episode is in the description. However, I am a sponsor, so if this video goes up before 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, you can't watch it if you're not a sponsor. But knowing how my reviews take forever to upload because of my amazing video editing software, you should watch it when the video is up. But regardless, the link is in the description. Please go watch it, or else you will be spoiled. So this episode, well, first off, it's only around 6.5 minutes long, so it's very short. However, I did enjoy this episode quite a bit, but there were a few minor issues. But first, let's get to what happened in the episode. So we first start off in present time with Carolina and Washington. They're in the desert. They're in the same place in Recreation where they had to kill CT, the EOD person. And we learn what has been rumored, not really rumored, but I speculated that this is what was going to happen. And I was right. I may have said it in some previous reviews, but I don't remember. But what basically happened was they told the story on how CT got to Sandtrap. And in the flash, well, first, like I said, we have present time, and then, you know, Washington's like, I can't believe, I honestly have no idea how she got here. And then Carolina says, well, she didn't get here. And then Washington says, wait, that can't be who I think it is. And then we go into the flashback explaining what happened to the real CT, the female CT. And that Warthog just did a wheelie. Anyway, my mind gets sidetracked so easily. Regardless, we figure out how... Well, spoiler, CT, like the real CT, the female CT dies. And her boyfriend, the ODST guy, was actually wearing CT's armor and Recreation. And at first, they were... I think they were trying to... Yeah, at first they were trying to make us believe that it was the real CT and that her voice box was damaged, but it actually wasn't. It was the boyfriend, and he was talking normally. The real CT, the female, already died many years ago, which is really sad because, I mean, first off, the voice acting by CT, the female CT, excellent job. If this is her final episode in the series, she did an excellent job voice acting the character. Just top-notch voice acting. Same with the ODST guy. I love the guy who voices him. He does a great job voice acting. So overall, the voice acting was very good in this episode. And actually, surprisingly, there are no reds and blues in this episode, if you can believe that or not. But I think it added to the whole epicness of this episode. So the flashback happens, and it explains how CT gets killed. CT and her boyfriend are in this room, and I think I finally realized how come their armor, or her armor, is so important. Apparently she has like this data chip that's important. Now, Christopher Strong and Matthew Lake aren't here to correct me, so I might be wrong on this, but I believe her armor is important because she has some data. I don't know what the data goes to exactly, but the director wants it. Maybe she stole it. I think she did steal it, actually. But, yeah, Texas sent there randomly, which I'm not really, like I said, in the last week's episode, I wasn't happy that she came out of fucking nowhere. And really quick, I gave the Machinima review last week an F. I changed my mind. I'll give it a C instead. But back to the review of episode 10. Carolina and Carolina and Tex are talking outside the door, and surprisingly, they're not trying to kill each other. Like, CT's not fucking pissed. I mean, she's not happy to see Tex. She's just like, oh, it's you. And, you know, she's not getting super pissed off like she was in Season 9. And, yeah, York and Wyoming and Washington and mainly Delta managed to kill off those smiley guys, like the guys from Watchmen. And I really liked their customization, but I thought it was kind of weak how they went out. Like, oh yeah, and plus that blue ODST. By the way, there's rumors saying that blue ODST is Sarge. There's no effing way it can be Sarge because he's not as badass as the blue ODST. The blue ODST takes a freaking axe to the chest, gets up, and throws the axe, I guess as a distraction, because it doesn't do anything. And then he takes out his assault rifle, which apparently has a grenade launcher on it, and he hits like this crane thing that hits the smiley face ODSTs, and then they fall on the ground and then they get splattered. But it's not red blood, it's yellow blood. So I don't know if they're like messed up or if it's like paint or if it's actually yellow blood. So maybe they're not human. Maybe they're like the AIs, or like maybe they're like Tex, who's an AI in a body. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But anyway, Carolina and Tex managed to infiltrate the compound where CT and her boyfriend is. Really quick, York tells Carolina that they got through, and then Delta says, well, it was mainly my doing. I thought that was kind of funny. I thought that was a funny part in the episode that I actually laughed at quite a bit, so I thought that was pretty cool. Just a little funny part just to mix in with the seriousness. And then Carolina and Tex confront CT and her boyfriend, and they talk for a little bit, and then, Tex is like, you know what, CT, we don't need you, we just need your armor, so go fuck yourself, and she shoots CT. Now, really quick, this CGI fight that ensues, I actually had to watch it twice, and the second time I watched it, I actually had to pause it in between fights to know, because like they were hitting each other so fast, and I couldn't really keep up. And I did enjoy the fight. At first, I thought it was like another over-the-top unnecessary backflip fight, but I really enjoyed it because of the lighting. It was like the lights were out, but there was like emergency red lights, and it's like Tex versus the ODST guy, and CT versus Carolina. And Carolina really held out her own. I think she was like on the scoreboards very low, if not even on the scoreboards at all. And she managed to hold herself off pretty well. But of course, in the end, she gets owned by Carolina, and Tex freaking stabs her in the chest with a freaking axe. And Carolina's like, "What the hell's wrong with you? Stop killing a teammate." And Tex is like, "Oh, she's not a teammate." And that just goes to show Tex. Like I said, Tex is an AI. I think she's the Omega AI, or she's one of the AIs. I forget. But she's very aggressive, and she's always doomed to fail. Oh no, she's the cloaking one, I think. Yeah, and regardless, she's very aggressive. She honestly, she is an AI, and I think she's a tool of the director. She's sent on missions, which kind of makes me wonder, like, why does the director train the other people when he can just send Tex in and get the work done almost every single time? It doesn't make any sense to me. But maybe he's just trying to make them more powerful by facing a powerful opponent like Tex. I still don't like how Red vs. Blue keeps trying to make Tex like the ultimate weapon, which I really don't care about. But anyway, yeah, CT takes a beating, and then we find out that she dies from her injuries, and we find out that, yes, her boyfriend puts on her mask, and it reminded me of the beginning of Halo Reach when Noble Six puts on his Spartan helmet, and we find out that, yes, he is the CT that was in Recreation, who got killed by Epsilon Church by laser to the face. So overall, I thought the episode was very well done. I enjoyed the music. I enjoyed the fight scene quite a bit, just because of like the music fit. The music actually worked out really well. Oh, I also loved how CT, like, her armor ability or her armor effect, or whatever the hell she had, she was able to like clone herself. It reminded me exactly of Dark Samus from Metroid Prime 3. I love the sound effects on like how she was able to like clone herself. Well, like if you played Super Smash Bros. Brawl, how like Lucario can do like that evade attack, and he like swirls around, and then he just like split second he's somewhere else, and like you can see like the echoes of his body traced behind his body. I loved how CD was able to like manipulate her body and like make clones of herself, which is a shame because she gets killed anyway. But I thought she made a really good final stand. The voice actors did an excellent job. So yeah. Overall, I did enjoy the episode quite a bit. The mood of the CGI fight, it was a little bit over the top backflip, but the mood made it great. The atmosphere with all the red lights, the music, the voice acting, and just the stunts were actually really well done. Minus the pointless Carolina kicks and stuff, but they were actually pretty good. I liked how she mixed the kicks in with like CT's cloning herself. Overall, I did enjoy the episode quite a bit. What did I not like? Well, not necessarily what I didn't like. Oh, actually, by the way, at the very end, we find... Yeah, well, at the end, it goes back to present time, and Carolina gets the chip that was in CT's armor, which everyone wanted to get. So I guess they're going to use that chip to find the director or something. But regardless, what did I not really like? In this episode, I noticed that the character models for the CGI were very blocky. CT's armor looked very, very blocky. Her hands looked abnormally large. Her armor was all like blurred, like Super Mario 64 graphics. Yeah, actually, all the models except for like Maine, South, North, Wyoming, York, York, Washington, and the Blue ODST, they look fine. Only ones that look weird. I mean, the ODST looked fine too. Carolina looked a bit weird. She looked a bit skinny. Her helmet looked a bit more, pressed into her face. Tex looked a little bit weird, but CT looked very, very unrendered, in my opinion. And it's funny because I actually saw a post by one of the Red versus Blue people, and they said, "Oh, our team worked very hard to finish this episode by like 4 a.m." And I'm like, well, I don't know if it's just me or like the one that I watched, but 3 out of the 10 characters were really not rendered so well. I also have to say that I'm jumping all over the place, but after CT dies and the boyfriend puts on her helmet, he escapes in a drop pod. And one of my favorite scenes in the entire episode is where Maine is walking out and like he looks as the drop pod blasts off into space, and he just looks so fucking badass. Like I said, I've always been a humongous fan of the meta or Maine. I just love the way he walks, and then he turns his head, and then he looks up at the pod racing up into the sky, and then he just puts the brute shot behind his back like a badass. And it's really a shame to know that he becomes like a freaking serial killer in the upcoming episodes, most likely. And, Bernie keeps telling us that, oh, Sigma, Maine's AI, is going to be the main antagonist, and yet we're about halfway through the show, and we haven't seen anything bad happen to Maine yet. But, like I said, there's still 10 episodes left, anything could happen. So, overall, I very much enjoyed this episode. Very much enjoyed it, actually. Honestly, I'll say it's my favorite episode so far, just because of the emotion that was in the CT death. I really felt sad that she died because, like I said, her final stand against Tex and Carolina was very well done. Voice acting was excellent. The fight scenes, I loved how she was able to clone her body like Dark Samus. It looked very awesome. Overall, I love this episode. I'm going to give it an A. That's right, my highest grade yet, an A. Everything else has been an A-. I'm giving this episode an A. Even though the CGI wasn't so rendered well, and for some characters, I thought that overall, Red vs. Blue still did a great job of expressing the mood of CT's death and her final stand, and just Maine being a fucking badass. Overall, I liked the episode. Let me know what you thought of the episode, and thank you for watching. Leave your comments down below. Hopefully next week we can have Matt and Chris return, but that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts on episode 10 of season 10, and that's it for now. See you next Monday for episode 11. Ciao for now.